Hello and welcome back. Steuben here yet again with another deck profile. It's a little off the wall. I felt really weird sleeving this one up because it's been quite a long time, but this deck just made top cut at a 2,000 person tournament in Asia, and it's Eternatus VMAX. Just wow. But yeah, also we did it. We made it the YouTube partner, so you can now officially hit these videos with super thanks. You can come hang out in the live streams and do super chats, and we'll have memberships up in the next couple of weeks whenever we have access to it, and I'll do all the details in a community tab post, so make sure you check out those from time to time. But yeah, let's just get into this. Eternatus VMAX. Holy crap, we're rocking a 4-3 line. We'll start with the V, Eternatus V, 220 HP with 2 attacks, power accelerator for 1 colorless, it does 30 damage. You may attach a dark energy from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon, then you have Dynamax Cannon, which you're never going to ever use, so I'm not even gonna read it off. But the Eternatus VMAX here, 340 HP, pretty big. And you have the ability Eternal Zone. If all of your Pokemon in play are dark, you can have up to 8 Pokemon on your bench. So you technically have 9 Pokemon in play. And then the attack for 1 dark and a colorless is Dread End for 30 times the amount of Pokemon you have in play that are dark. So if you have a full bench plus the active, that's 270 damage with no modifiers. Absolutely insane. And so you can have a full bench full of support Pokemon, but the most important support Pokemon in this deck is, of course, the 4 copies of Crobat V with the ability Dark Asset. Once during your turn, you can bench this and draw your hand up to 6. So you're going to consistently want to do this every single turn to get these Crobats into play. So we're rocking a full 4 count of those. Next up, we've got Drapion V and V-Star. Drapion V can attack for free into Single Strike, Rapid Strike, and Fusion Strike Pokemon, depending on how many they have. With Dynamic Tail, it does 190 and 60 to one of your Pokemon, but 190 times 2 if you hit into a Mew feels pretty good. But you're also already playing Eternatus, so this is just another option. But the real reason why we're playing the Drapion now is for the V-Star power Hazard Star on the V-Star. During your turn, you may make your opponent's Pokemon paralyzed and poisoned, and you put 3 damage counters instead of 1 on poison. So this locks up a Lugia in play. And you also have access to Big Bang Arm for 2 dark and a colorless, so it does 250 minus 10 for each damage counter on this Pokemon, which I haven't thought about using it, but honestly the Hazard Star is just going to be where it's at. Continuing on, we are rocking a 2-2 line of Umbreon V and VMAX. And this is the most expensive card I think I've ever actually put in a deck in the Pokemon trading card game. So make sure you hit the thumbs up button for the full bling Umbreon V here. But yeah, we'll start with this. Umbreon V is a single strike dark type Pokemon V with the attack Mean Look and Moonlight Blade. Mean Look prevents retreat for 30, which is really good in some situations. If it's something that like you can gust up and then Mean Look and they can't retreat it, they also can't attack with it either. Feels really cool. And then Moonlight Blade for 80 plus, it does 80 more damage. You have damage counters on it, but you're not really ever going to attack with it, let alone the Umbreon VMAX, which has the attack max darkness for 1 dark and 2 colorless to do 160. But the reason you're playing this is for the ability Dark Signal. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to your bench to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active. So it's a boss's orders, it's a gust effect, it's super strong, and definitely a really good piece to use. Next up, we have 2 copies of Galarian Moltres V, mostly here for the Dire Flame Wings ability. Once during your turn, you may attach a Dark Energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon. You can't use more than 1 Dire Flame, so if you have 2, you can't use both of them. You can only use 1 Dire Flame Wings. And we'll get to the reasonings why for that in a little bit. And you have Aura Burn for 2 dark and a colors for 190, and it hurts itself for 30. Pretty typical and straightforward. And the last Pokemon on the list are 2 copies of Galarian Zigzagoon for the Headbutt Tantrum ability. When you put it down from your head to your bench, you're going to put 1 damage counter on it. So you're filling up your bench, you put this down, you put a damage counter on something that you need to get closer to. And so not only are you fulfilling Eternatus' attack requirements of getting your bench full of dark Pokemon to do more damage, you're also just slapping additional counters down to kind of fix the math for you in some situations. And that's the Pokemon line. All dark, goes with the ability on the Eternatus. So pretty straightforward here. I do like the ability to be able to use the Drapion, especially in the Lugia matchup. It kind of helps you figure that out. If you want to know more about like why Drapion is good, go check out this week's episode of Gusset One Podcast, where we had Jake Gearhart, who got top 8 at Toronto with Articuno inside of a Palkia deck for paralysis. And he talks about Drapion a little bit for the same sort of possibilities. Onto the supporters, pretty straightforward. We're rocking 3 copies of Research, 2 copies of Marnie, 2 copies of Boss's Orders, and 1 copy of Serena for additional gusting, discard, and draw. So of course, discard your hand, draw 7. You know, Marnie, shuffle hands, put them on the bottom of the deck. They get 4 cards, you get 5 cards. Bosses, you're gusting. Serena's gusting and or discard and draw. Pretty straightforward. We have these in almost every single deck we've covered recently. Item cards, I won't dwell up too much time. We've got 4 copies of Ultra Ball and 4 copies of Quick Ball. Discard cards, find Pokemon. This is help you thin your hand down to draw cards up with Crobat. Gets Dark Energy in the discard pile for Galarian Moltres. It just really helps you get things moving along as needed. And now the other V-Star option in the deck is, of course, the Forest Sealstone with the ability Star Alchemy. You can put this on a Pokemon V. I stuttered. Anyway, yeah, you put this on a Pokemon V, and you can use the V-Star power to search your deck for any card you need. So if it's a matchup where you're not going to use Drapion V or V-Star, you can just use the Forest Sealstone to go ahead and, you know, grab whatever missing piece you need to make the deck pop off for you for the turn. And then we're playing 3 copies of Switch. This will help pivot around because the retreat cost on these guys are pretty thick, and we're not playing Air Balloon because it doesn't work on Drapion V or V-Star or Eternatus VMAX. But we also have access to Hiding Dark Energy, which would give us free retreat. So this feels pretty solid to be able to use these. And then now we're rocking 2 copies of Energy Switch. And this is the real reasoning why the Galarian Moltres is in here. So you can go ahead and Dire Flame Wings and the Energy Switch that energy off to another one of your Pokemon that need it. In this case, Eternatus attack costs for 2, so 1 turn attachment and 1 Dire Flame Wings, and then an Energy Switch will take care of that for you. And we're getting down to the wire of the items. We got 2 copies of Choice Belt for damage modifiers, increase 30 damage into Pokemon V. And we've got 2 copies of Lost Vacuum. I can't quite figure out why they're playing 2 copies, but I mean, it's also a good way to thin your hand out. And potentially, we do play Temple of Sinnoh in here, and we do play Special Energy. So this could just be a way to turn off your own Temple of Sinnoh. All right, next up we've got an Ordinary Rod here to go ahead and return your basic Dark Energy or your Pokemon back into the deck. And again, just reuse and rinse and recycle whatever pieces. So if you have to unfortunately discard like a one-off Pokemon early on down the line, you can just Ordinary Rod it back in for the late game. And then for the stadiums, we're rocking, like I said, 2 copies of Temple of Sinnoh. This is going to let you make all special energy, basically just 1 single colorless. So this is going to help in a lot of different matchups, especially against V-Guard energy, where you need it, you know, need that to be in play so you can hit through the numbers with the Eternatus to take the KOs that you need to. So this is really good in that situation. And we're also playing a copy of Lost City to go ahead and remove threats from the game after taking a KO. And again, you know, if you lose, say a Crobat or any turn, it's not too big a deal if they go to the Lost Zone, because you're not really going to ever set up like, you know, all 3 of your VMAXs. All right, so we got the stadiums covered. Now we're down to the energy. We're rocking 2 copies of Hiding Dark Energy. This is going to give you free retreat on your dark Pokemon, and luckily for us, every single Pokemon we have in play is dark. And of course, like I mentioned, the Temple of Sinnoh will turn this off. So if you have to Lost Vacuum your own Temple to be able to retreat with Hiding Dark, or use this V-Guard energy here to reduce damage onto your Pokemon from Pokemon Vs, this is really going to help out. Makes Eternatus theoretically a 370 HP Pokemon. Absolutely insane. And then we're just rocking 6 basic dark because we have the special energy and the Moltres, and of course the energy switch. We're able to, you know, reuse, and of course Ordinary Rod to put everything back in. But this list got top cut, I think top 4 at a 2,000 player tournament, and it makes me wonder. I know their meta is a little bit different. They, you know, they play 25-minute best of 1, but at the same situation, this is super strong still, and it's the last bastion for it. This could be a good play in Arlington. It gives you the paralysis checkmate if you need it on a Lugia deck. You're already hitting for 270 with a Zigzagoon, that's 280, with a belt, that's 310. You're hitting through Mew for weakness. No one's really playing fighting right now because Lugia resists fighting, Mew beats fighting. So it just, Dark feels really good, and you know, the combination of these, you have fighting weakness and grass weakness depending on which Pokemon you're rocking with, so it really does make a big difference. But of course, that's it for this video. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, comment down below what you think of this deck list, and of course subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon content. And if it really helped you out, hey, leave a super thanks comment. I appreciate those, as well as come hang out in a live stream. You know, we'll be doing a little bit more now, so I'm very excited for the future of the channel since we got a YouTube partner. So big thank you to all of you for the support and everything else. But yeah, much love. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.